From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. Prime Minister Mark Carney and his cabinet are gathering in Quebec City for a second day of meetings ahead of Parliament's return on Monday. Carney kicked off the retreat by delivering a speech in which he took the opportunity to push back against recent comments by U.S. President Donald Trump, who said that Canada lives because of the United States.
Now, Canada can't solve all the world's problems, but we can show that another way is possible, that the arc of history isn't destined to be warped towards authoritarianism and exclusion. It can still bend towards progress and justice.
Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne said yesterday the central theme of the cabinet retreat is affordability, which has been the Carney government's key objective and mission. Carney said the group will also be discussing the economy and creating jobs. No reason has been given, but Mark Carney's name is no longer on the list of world leaders being invited to take part in Donald Trump's Board of Peace. The American president pulled the Prime Minister's invite last night, a notice he delivered via his social media account. However, it doesn't take much guessing to surmise that the rejection stems from Carney's recent speech at the World Economic Forum. He told the gathered world leaders that smaller countries must stick together to avoid the larger ones from using their heavy economic weight to bully them. As critics attack Ottawa's agreement last week that clears the way for a small number of Chinese electric vehicles to enter the country's market, China's envoy to Ottawa says Beijing wants to partner with Canadian auto workers to create good jobs and build cheaper cars. Ambassador Wang Di says that, quote, only win-win cooperation can last, and he wants to see affordable quality cars along with job growth here in Canada. Ontario Premier Doug Ford has called the deal lopsided and warns that cheap Chinese EVs could flood the market and compromise Canadian automakers' critical access to the American market. The Buy Canadian movement, which was sparked last year by a trade dispute with the U.S., could ramp up again with the Canada-United States-Mexico agreement coming up for review this summer. As shoppers grew tired of issues ranging from trade rhetoric to food inflation, the Buy Canadian attitude shifted toward buying anything other than American goods, provided they were affordable. Grocery stores responded by shoring up their domestic and international supply chains, such as adding maple leaf signs to products with Canadian ties. And finally, the operator of one of Edmonton's largest long-term care homes says it's working to address serious concerns about an infestation of mice and their potentially dangerous droppings. Opposition NDP MLA Sarah Hoffman says the problem at the nearly 500-bed Edmonton General Continuing Care Centre was flagged to authorities 6 months ago, but on a recent visit with a resident, she saw further evidence it has not yet been addressed.
It's just not okay.
Operator Covenant Health says it's recently hired a new pest control company, and if evidence of pests is found, it's rectified quickly, including with secured entry points. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, Anthony Mantha scored twice. Sidney Crosby made it 3 in an early 37-second span as the Pittsburgh Penguins beat the Edmonton Oilers 6-2. Elsewhere, Buffalo doubled up on Montreal 4-3. Florida took Winnipeg to a shootout 2-1. The Panthers win. The Nashville Predators clawed out a 5-3 victory from the Ottawa Senators. Chicago, Columbus, Boston, and Minnesota also finding the win column. Over in the PWHL, Vancouver blanked Toronto 5-0. Victoria Mboko is off to the fourth round of the Australian Open. The 19-year-old from Toronto defeated 14th-seeded Clara Tauson of Denmark in 3 sets. Mboko, the 17th seed, had 6 aces but had to work through 9 double faults at the Grand Slam tennis event. And finally, in the NFL, the Atlanta Falcons hired Tommy Rees as offensive coordinator on Thursday. It'll be a reunion for Rees and new Falcons coach Kevin Stefanski. Rees worked under Stefanski for 2 years in Cleveland. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.